It was July 9, 1998, when the Whitaker family, Douglas and Lynn, a devoted couple in their early 40s, and their two teenage daughters, Emily and Sarah, set off from their home in Salt Lake City, Utah, for a summer road trip to Yellowstone National Park in their mustard yellow 1983 Volkswagen Vanagon, excited to retrace a route Douglas had traveled with his parents as a child, their departure marked by smiles, snapshots, and a final wave to the neighbor who captured the last known photo of them as they rolled down the driveway. They planned to camp along scenic routes, documenting their journey with Douglas's vintage Nikon camera and a bulky VHS camcorder, posting occasional postcards to Lynn's sister in Colorado. But on the third day of their trip, after checking out of a rustic roadside lodge in Dubois, Wyoming, they were never seen again, their van, their belongings, and all traces of their existence vanishing into the wilderness without a sound or sign, sparking one of the most baffling and fruitless manhunts in Wyoming history. The area was combed by search teams, helicopters scanned trails, lakes were dredged, psychic tipsters were consulted, and thousands of flyers were distributed across the western states. But nothing ever surfaced, not a tire track, not a receipt, not a witness account of them past the lodge, as though the earth itself had swallowed them whole. Theories swirled like smoke, that they had run off the road into a canyon, that they had stumbled into foul play at a remote gas station, that Douglas had some secret and staged the entire disappearance. But none of them could be proven, and over the years the case became ghosted, fading into legend, a tragic cautionary tale of lost travelers swallowed by the wild. Until 2 decades later, in the summer of 2018, a group of geology students from Bozeman University piloting a drone over a previously unmapped limestone canyon during a cave mapping study picked up something unexpected. Beneath the overhang of a collapsed ridge and a cavernous crevasse barely visible from above, the camera caught the faint outline of a rusted vehicle surrounded by scattered debris. Intrigued, they sent the footage to park officials, who initially dismissed it as junk scrap until a closer frame-by-frame analysis revealed something astonishing. The unmistakable shape of a VW Vanagon, its faded yellow paint still visible under the dust and rubble. Within a week, a recovery team rappelled into the dangerous vertical chamber and confirmed the unthinkable. The van was indeed the Whitakers, wedged against the limestone wall, partially buried under rocks and weathered branches, with its windshield shattered inward and one of the rear doors hanging open. Inside were 4 decomposed remains, identified later through dental records and DNA as Douglas, Lynn, Emily, and Sarah, all in their seats except for Emily, whose body was found a few feet behind the van near a collapsed rock wall. There were no signs of foul play, no bullet wounds, no restraints, no sabotage. But the positioning of the van raised serious questions, because according to terrain maps and park rangers, the path leading to that crevasse was not even a known road in 1998, let alone one that could have been easily driven into. Further complicating the mystery was a box of undeveloped film rolls found sealed inside a plastic container behind the passenger seat. When processed, they revealed dozens of photos chronicling the Whitakers' trip, including happy moments at a gas station, the kids posing by a lake, Lynn making sandwiches by a roadside. But the final few photos were chilling. One showed a large, dark shape looming at the edge of a rock tunnel. Another captured what looked like a figure in the woods behind the van. And the last photo, blurred and overexposed, seemed to depict the family looking back in fear, as if something had startled them just before the camera dropped. In the days following the discovery, more was found. A camcorder tape, only partially degraded, captured hours of footage, ending with Douglas whispering, "We're not alone out here," before the screen cut to static. The footage sent shockwaves through the press and rekindled global interest in the Whitaker case, with news outlets speculating everything from animal attacks to military experiments, cult activity, and supernatural phenomena. Though the official report from the National Park Service attributed the deaths to an accidental fall into the crevasse during a wrong turn in deteriorating road conditions, compounded by the remote location and lack of rescue access. But local folklore keepers weren't convinced. They pointed to other strange disappearances in the same mountain range dating back to the 1960s, whispered tales of the watchers in the cliffs, and even stories from native tribes of spirits that lured travelers into the canyons never to return. The Whitaker family's remains were cremated at the request of Lynn's surviving sister, who received their effects, including the processed photographs, the dusty Nikon camera, and a weathered journal that Lynn had kept during the trip, ending abruptly with a line, "We heard it again last night." Sarah swears she saw lights on the ridge. Doug says it's just the altitude. I don't know anymore. The discovery prompted a full closure of the surrounding area for over a year, during which park officials mapped dozens of hidden caves and identified unstable pathways never listed on official maps. One of which, now believed to be the path the Whitakers unknowingly took, had collapsed entirely just weeks after their disappearance, sealing their van and their story in darkness for 20 years. Today, a memorial plaque stands on the rim of the canyon, etched with the words, "The road was quiet. The stars were out. And still, they disappeared." And every July 9th, visitors leave flowers, postcards, and toy vans at the site in memory of a family whose journey was supposed to be a vacation but became an enduring mystery, one that, even with the final photo developed, still refuses to fully reveal its truth.